Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another night. It is day 3 of the OCC. My name is Pike, and I'm joined with the ever fantastic, ever beautiful, ever handsome Weapon joining me on tonight's cast. Yes, I'll always give you that sort of intro, man. How are you feeling tonight? Are you excited for tonight's games?
I'm really excited, man. This is obviously the second night of casting in a row. It should be a couple of bangers. We've got some really important games on the way because the format of this tournament does not allow mistakes. It is punishing, and we are going to see that later on when we are going to be saying goodbye to, at least 2 of our teams already into the third day. And of course, a bunch of teams will be advancing, but we've got some games ahead of us. They will be bangers, and dude, I'm stoked. I can't wait to see some more League of Legends.
Well, the best part is just like last night, yes, we were casting as well. I cooked my voice. I didn't actually realize. I was walking home going like, and then I was like on the set today, and they're just like, oh, Pike, just give us some lines. I'm like, no, I can't. I can't do it. And they're just like, come on, just give us some lines. I can't. So I've saved myself. I'm basically a bit of a virgin right now in regards to casting. I've been saving my voice all day. I'm ready to go. Let's get ready for these games because we have some sweet Swiss stage matches. Let's have a look at the full format and see how it's going to play out. Because look, you might see a lot of colors here, ladies and gentlemen, and that's fine because there are. But Weapon, walk me through how this works.
All right, so this is the GSL format. Everyone who's watched League of Legends esports at Worlds will know the format. 3 wins, you're in, qualified for playoffs. 3 losses, you are out. And then at the top of the bracket, you can see there's a lot of names there, but if you look at the players on those teams, there will be some very familiar faces. We've got the Ground Zero Academy guys, of course. That is the team of Darkness and Co. Feeders Anonymous. The names of the teams may have changed, but I can almost guarantee you that if you've been watching League of Legends at this tier of play and you see some names that you recognize, they will all be represented there. Whereas in the lower brackets, at the 1-1 stage, playing for that last chance to qualify, which will be next week, there's a lot of new faces, a lot of guys who've had some unlucky runs. And then, of course, sitting down 0-2 will be our match that's coming up second between Hardstuck, Attica, and the Monks. So it's all best of ones. I believe that it's a punishing format until you get to those playoffs. You don't really get to get those second chances, and you get plenty of games to prove yourself. But against each individual team, you've got to step up. You've got to show what you've got on the day.
That's it, man. Especially with that last chance, that's the big one. But let's have a look at tonight's games because it is the first one, which is Weebs versus Frozen Hands. Now it's actually called Himiko Toga's Shower. We're just going to call them Weebs because that is a name.
Weebs is way better.
It's a HTS. HTS? That sounds like a venereal disease. Let's stick with Weebs. Then we've got the second set of games, which is Hardstuck Attica, like you said, versus the Monks. That's going to be an interesting one because that's both a lower bracket seeding. They're both teams that have lost both set of games thus far. So they're looking for a bit of a redemption arc here, Weapon. But tonight's first series, it's going to be a biggie.
Yeah, definitely will. There's a couple of familiar names on these teams as well, of course. This is a team that's coming in with your Braddles in the mid lane, a known quantity and someone we expect to perform. Of course, Spinach has been around the tournaments of sort of lower tier to getting up to this tier is something not seen from him, but I've no doubt he can deliver. He's a decent player. And of course, Rocco, a known quantity there. But then on the other side, there is one player I have my hands on for Frozen Hands, and it is Mirai. Mirai is a player who I'm going to say personally, I actually love this guy because just does a lot of work behind the scenes as far as, like, I know he's done a bit of coaching and stuff, but just kind of throws the draft at the wall and just sees what sticks every single time. We've seen things like the Garen jungle. We know that he loves his Udyr regardless of whether it's in the meta. And it feels like when this guy is on a team, they just kind of live and die by the jungle because Mirai feels like he's the center of the team. I don't know if this is going to be the case for Frozen Hands. We haven't seen them on stream yet, but that is definitely the world I expect to be living in, Pike.
Look, and I love that. I think, you know me, Weapon. I don't so much go off what I know from previous plays from players. I go off for how cool their name is that I can cast it. So when I look at this, I'm like, Starduck, I can come up with a bit of a fun... Look, Chikawa, that's a sick one. Doze Off, the second he dies, you know he's sleeping. Ares, that's the god of war, baby. That's just simple stuff. But that, again, there's other people in there, and again, let's not even worry about Kevin Bacon because the Footloose is strong. But again, you pull out some really good things, right? I think you're right. Braddles, Rocco, Mirai, these are all players we've seen in tournaments before. I'm excited to see how they're going to perform again. Again, this is the OCC. This is one of the bigger tournaments that we have thus far in the O. So I'm keen to see how these teams actually sort of build that synergy. And I think that's one thing we want to start seeing more from our scene, is how can they actually come together, keep those good communications going, rather than sort of sitting back and just relying on their solo queue level play. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. Do you have any predictions for how you'd like to see draft? And don't say Udyr for Mirai. I want you to pick something else.
It's Udyr or Volibear or Garen. Like those seem to be the only things he plays. He also has the Kha'Zix, which he does love to bust out. Mirai specifically loves to bust out as the Xin Zhao counter. Also has been known to play it, I think, into the Wukong a little bit. Maybe not quite as successful there, if I recall. But predictions, I mean, I don't know. These are not teams we've seen going in, so... yeah, your guess is as good as mine. It's going to be a fun couple of games.
Let's reset the question then. We'll reset the question then. What would you like to see from a champion pool? Like, what is the champion you'd like to see in a game?
Okay, I mean, I would have to actually look at the multis, look at the OPGGs, do some research. Like, all
what
I
are you
know
enjoying?
Is the jungle pool. Sorry?
What are you just enjoying in games? What do you enjoy watching?
Have you been looking at my match history?
No.
So, I mean, we got some time to fill.
We do.
I got to say, today, the Zed training arc started today.
Yeah, all right.
I'm sorry. I saw the reaction. I saw you scrunch up your face. Because like Zed is my permaban. Just quickly. So like Zed is because Zeka busted it out at first stand, and I was like, maybe it's good now. And Zed has been my permaban because I refused to learn how to play the champion. Now we're on the training arc. So, I mean, if we can see some Zed, that would be sick. We are, of course, it is going to be best of one, so we don't get to talk about Fearless, unfortunately, but no doubt that comes into play later on in the tournament for the playoffs.
Technically,
and that's when we start to have a bit of a conversation around the champion pools and whatnot.
Technically, it is Fearless because it is a best of one, so they have to cancel out that pool regardless. Yeah, so I think we don't have to worry about that at all. But I think what I'd like to see, Weapon, you know me. People know me. I'm a Yone Fizz player, cool beans. I'm going to just throw those out the window. I'm going to throw the kitchen sink at them.
Okay, sure.
I want to see a Yasuo. I want to see like a Yasuo Diana sort of play, Yasuo Malphite. I want to see some big bomber damage coming out. That's all I care about. I don't care about anything else. I want to see sick combos that are synergizing with the teams. That's all I want. Is that too much to ask? Maybe, but we're still going to get it because I'm putting the manifestation out into the universe to get these for the games. And you know what? The boys are going to deliver.
Yeah, I think the for this first game, it's just going to be the best of one. I think the pick that I have my eyes mostly on is going to be actually the Twisted Fate. Of course, it did receive the gigantic buff, the huge buff of the 3 AD, plus 3 AD. Absolutely incredible. It's actually shot up in priority in almost across all of the high early challenger. I mean, a lot of challenger players did really like it already. I think there's a lot of nostalgia attached to the champion, but now we're actually seeing it. The pick rate has been bumped just off the 3 AD. Right, it does this sometimes. They love to give a little mini buff to a champion just for players just to recognize that it still exists. We've seen the play rate pick up, and Brattles in particular has been trying to make the champion work in solo queue. So could be the direction we go for, but best of ones. We have a game, we have a draft.
We're ready to go. So they're going to get straight into those bans, and that's what I like to see straight off the bat for any game, because if you don't start there, you've started wrong. But there's the Udyr. Makes a lot of sense. You talked about it with Mirai.
Take it away.
Awesome ban.
Yeah, and don't let Mirai play one of his wacky champions. I got to say, you're not really going to fear the Garen, especially after the nerfs to the champion. He doesn't get to go the full damage route anymore as comfortably, so probably not so much a threat. This is a massive ban away from Kevin Bacon with the Misfortune, because I had a quick look at the OPGGs, look at the solo queue. All Misfortune, all the time, challenger rank player. Take it away.
Oh, honestly, and Misfortune in and of itself is one of those S-tier players right now. So it's such a strong champion, really good ulti for those crowd control fights as well. Volibear is now taken away. They are just saying, Mirai, we know you're goated. Sorry, bud, we're not going to let you have any champions at all. But at the same time, Mirai's got a pretty deep pool, so like you can take those high priority picks. But deep pool means you can go swimming.
Yep, and the other thing about Mirai is that he is a player that I expect to be able to play some of the more meta picks, the Sejuanis, the Maokai's, I guess, if you want to go for the sort of tank options, Xin Zhao, Wukong, of course. A lot of target bans in this pick phase. Rocco, only Zillion in solo queue right now. Loves the pick, so take away the Zillion. Varus, of course, is just one of the safest blind picks. So if you're looking to grab something like a priority solo laner on the blue side, or something that just isn't an 80 carry, taking away that sort of blind pick option on the other side on the response makes a decent amount of sense. And there's the Aurora taken away. Of course, it has been nerfed. It feels like it doesn't quite have the pepper that it has had in the past, but take it off the board. It's a strong team fighting tool. Makes a decent amount of sense. And the priority pick is going to be the Ashe.
Look, Ashe, we know is really strong at the moment. Good poke, really good engage with that ultimate. Crystal Arrow does so much. Could pair it with most likely a Braum is what I'm thinking. Bit of hard CC coming in. That's what I'm expecting to see. Would you like to see something countered to that, though, weapon?
Yeah, I think about what else you can pick in this, because obviously lane swaps have changed. Lane swaps have gone away, right? And there's the Gwen, with champion that we always forget about. Can play in the jungle, can play in top lane. Much stronger in lane these days. Lane swaps have changed the landscape, right? So picks like Ashe that can bully a lane alongside a hard engaged support, set up ganks, can actually rise in priority here. So definitely if you're going to kind of, oh wow, that is bold. So Zeri Lulu is a combo, right?
It is.
But it's not strong early.
No.
So I think now if you force something like a Nautilus, a Braum, Leona, something here on the blue side, here for Rocco. Of course, he doesn't have the Zillion to go to. Seems to be favoring, I guess, the enchanters, but it's Rocco, play anything.
Yeah.
I would love to see hard engage here and then actually let them take the enchanter side of the matchup and just kind of smash it early. Sounds like suicide, but I think if you shut it down, it's playable.
No, look, I agree with that. I think the Zeri being picked up now is very aggressive. I think they've either come in with a very strong game plan of we want these picks and this is what we're going to play around, which means, especially with the Zeri, they're playing for a mid to late. So I wouldn't expect, I would expect more scaling champions, but that's a Swain being locked in too. And that's another flex as well. That's a support mid, even top we've even seen.
Not so much support these days, unfortunately. I think the nerfs to the champion to take away some of his base damages really took him out of the support role. But definitely can play top, can play mid. This is likely going to be a Brattles champion, just based on the match history of the player. Seems to really like these more tanky champions. He has a decent Galio as well. And there is the Braum. So good job. Well predicted. And a lot that can shut down a Zeri early on. You land that Q, walk her down with the Ashe autos, and sort of take her out of the proceedings. So would not be surprised if you do go for that more enchanter option. Get something that's comfortable to build the Mikhails. Something like a Milio could go nicely. And there's the Silas to round things out. So, it steals the Swain ultimate. It makes a decent amount of sense. We'll see what the support pick is here for Chikawa, because you can match the aggression, but you're going to be engaging straight into a Braum, straight into a Swain. So I think this is actually going to be the enchanter matchup that you probably are quite happy with if you're Kevin Bacon and Rocco.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't actually sort of even discount that the Silas pick being able just to go to the Swain ultimate. You could actually go Crystal Arrow. Like what you're sort of missing is that ticket from a bit of a range all in, or like that hard engage. So if Silas can take a Crystal Arrow, which seems to be the ticket for what it is that Weebs want to be using to start the fight, Silas can do the same thing and just blow them up, especially with the Gwen. Silas happy to jump on top too. I kind of like it. Now you can see they're banning out all those mages you talked about. Lulu's gone. You mentioned Milio. I wouldn't be surprised if that's gone. But Darius ban, what do you think about that?
Yeah, Darius is he's not a champion anymore, especially not in the jungle. The nerf to the passive just made his clear speed so slow in the early going. His ganks are not great. He kind of got away with ganks in his previous state because he just cleared the jungle so quickly and sort of cheated against timers. I think the Lulu ban makes a lot of sense. She is the one champion that kind of makes it impossible to engage on the Zeri. The Milio, it feels like a worse option, and I think if you're trying to bait it on the side of the Weaves, then I definitely back it. Yumi's also one that makes sense. I think Milio is the one you're scared of the least, because what can happen with the Milio matchup in particular is he throws down the little campfire, and Zeri just skates away from it, and basically doesn't interact with her support until it's time for Milio to press R, and then you get a little bit of benefit there. So it's definitely one of the worst options, I would say, for the Zeri, if you want to go for the enchanter route. And you can go for something like a Janna or something more traditional, Janna, Karma, these sorts of things. But she definitely, I think there's enough frontline here that you are looking for that enchanter option, and there it is with the Karma.
I kind of like that, actually, because it's all about just getting a bit of poke off. It's going to give that breathing room for Zeri to just farm up and get a little bit stronger. That talk about mid to late game, I love it. Jax being locked in, though. It's going to be the Jax into the Gwen, most likely, with a Vi being picked up. This Zeri's going to have nowhere to run.
Yeah, absolutely not. I love this draft so far from the Weaves. Just all locked down all the time. There is one target, and it is going to be the Zeri. A bunch of very easy buttons to press, and if she's in range, then the Swain gets to press R, gets to pull her in, damage done. Mundo locked in. In jungle? Jungle. Has to be jungle.
No, it's Mundo top Gwen
No,
jungle.
Of course.
Yeah,
Gwen jungle. We didn't even think about it. Or I didn't even think about it. Gwen jungle is still a thing. I really do prefer her in top these days, though. I think that the early buffs to her just give her more agency in the early going. She kind of had her power curve flattened a little bit. I think definitely makes a big difference to how she plays in the early going. But a little bit of pause. It's all good. We are straight into it, and we are into a line of scrimmage.
Honestly, the classic pause is Oceanic special, so I wouldn't expect a game to have it, or not have it, I might even say. But we are in the first game, Frozen Hands versus the Weebs. It's looking like it could end up pretty spicy, Weapon, because, like you said, these drafts looking strong. This Mundo pick sort of has thrown it well off to the side for me. What does this matchup actually look like? Jax versus Mundo? I always thought like 9 times out of 10, Jax should win this.
Yeah, I think it's more of a neutralizing pick. The Jax doesn't really get to kill the Mundo in the early going. Like, he wants to engage with his Counter-Strike, and he will knock the passive off and get a decent amount of damage. But Mundo, you talk about the health regeneration with this champion, right?
Yeah.
And he actually just has that in spades, even without the ultimate ticking. Yeah, I think he has a frankly absurd just base health regen. And especially if he's landing in the cleavers, then it just gets even better. So Stardock is kind of here to be a bit of a brick wall. I think he wants to hit at least a couple of tank items, and then he's just there to wade into the thick of things. The problem is that what he's wading through is going to be a Braum. It's going to be an Ashe that can self-heal to an extent.
Yep.
Yes, the pass is going to help. And then a Vi who's going to be diving past the Mundo. So it's an interesting pick. If it has a good laning phase, and if Mirai is able to make some magic happen up towards the top side, then certainly it might be a good pick that will work out down the stretch. But right now, Mirai is pathing down towards the bot side, as is the Vi. So it looks like we're going to have that bot lane gank. 3 minutes on the clock. Set your timers.
Look, I love a good timer. I love counting the clock. Sadly, I can't read 24-hour time, but I can still read a digital clock, so it's all good. Don't worry about me, Weapon. I'm over here just struggling in all sorts of time zones. But no, again, I want to talk a bit more about what these teams want to achieve, right? Like, let's look at the bigger picture. What do we want to see the Weebs look to secure this game? Are we looking topside grubs? Are they trying to focus more down bot side? Tell the people.
So I think the big goal is explode the enemy nexus, but in order to get there, you've got basically just a Zeri who's going to need to be the star of the show for Ares, and they very clearly built around it. There's some diving members who I think will be here to draw attention going forward, especially if the Silas has a pop-off game, then he's going to be kind of creating the space for the Zeri to work. Whereas on the other side, you just have that target. That's all it is. It's just lockdown. Kill that target, and right now we have that penetrative first gank. Ares.
Spinach is coming in. Ares could be caught out, already half health, and now Chikawa's already getting the passive, been pulled up on the Braum. Ares is very low. The flash comes out, Ignite used as well, though, Weapon, so still, they're getting summoners.
Yeah, really nicely played. Gets the flash out of Chikawa, holds onto the heal, but all said and done, Brattles.
It's the range diff. You do get to push him out.
Q.
The heal does come in clutch. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was the level up, in fact.
It was level up.
That was just good enough. And he's going back in. I don't know where you're thinking of going, but Brattles is low. Wake up. One more auto will do it. And Brattles, the GOAT, securing first blood.
That was so close. A margin of about 10 HP on either side, but it does go the way of Brattles. I'm not going to say calculated, but I will say very lucky for sure. And does pick up that first kill. So I was talking about how the Silas needed to have a bit of a pop-up game to be able to create the space for Zeri to work, because otherwise the fight is going to be going in the direction of Frozen Hands. This is kind of like a game where both sides more or less want to dive. They want to occupy their opponent's space.
Oh my god. Hold on. Prince Charming just definitely affirming that name. And here is the Vi too. Chikawa looks like a fresh meal. Why are they not giving this to the Ashe? Maybe they want to give Spinach that little bit of a lead, but the Smite didn't even get used. It was just extra damage on top of it. But Weapon looks like Frozen Hands might be a little bit chilly.
Yeah, might be. I've got nothing. No, that was just really good. Yeah, they're definitely not having the early game that they wanted with these picks. I mean, you expected the Zeri and the Karma was just there to neutralize the early lane, but the rest of the map is not going great. Brattles is that one kill up. He's up a decent amount of CS. He's going to be going towards his first item very soon. He's got the Amp Comb in inventory, so it's not going to be a Rod of Ages.
Now they're looking to turn this around.
Here? No.
No. Ares, God of
and
War. Likes to fight, we
go.
understand.
Yeah, and the other thing is that I talked about this in draft, but I think you're perfectly happy as the Ashe Braum in this matchup because now you've got two great targets to hit. It doesn't matter who the Braum tags with the Q rather. You just walk them down with the Ashe, and the Karma, it makes a lot of sense alongside the Zeri, and it will get better as the game goes on. But right now, you can just keep the pressure on as the Weaves just go bot again. You've got Vi completing a clear. The Dragon is up. They're going to be able to set up priority in that bot side, and she's going to have such an easy time probably just taking this first drag, likely uncontested. We're pathing top. Oh, because camps are spawning there, I guess. What's the plan?
Oh, probably Void Grubs, if I'm being honest. They're going to be up in just under a minute. They're 20 seconds, but a good gank in mid. Wake up is being told, wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. It's nighttime, though, here in Oceania, and you're getting blasted 0-2 into this bloody cheeky Swain.
Yeah, Spinach with the timers in his head, just ready to go. Here's the replay, and I can hear myself.
Wakey, wakey, he's been told wakey, wakey.
I can hear you.
Just hearing myself twice. I'm like, damn, I sound stupid. So production just told us they played us the wrong one where they could hear us twice. That's okay. Hopefully get another one changed up. Starduck now trying to take on Lucian. The TP was used nice and early. Starduck as well, being slowed down. But still, not too much. Mirai now trying to come back and take one of these Void Grubs, but the rest of the team is here. They want to contest. They did steal one away, but now the fight has broken out. Wake up, using that ult with the Swain to kaboom, but it's not enough. It's a double Swain ulti. Battle lock if ever I've seen it. Wake up is there. Starduck's able to pick up Prince Charming. That's the tank gone. Lucian picked up another kill too. Wake up, gone for the count once again. Now Braddles is trying to hold on. It's a 1v2, and not enough damage in this world can stop you as a big old Mundo walks down your lane. And a good fight with Frozen Hands.
Yeah, they find the fight, and it was just a question of who was tankier in that fight, and with the Mundo, with the ultimate popped, that was the answer. Gwen getting the lifesteal from a passive, and was able to just outlast the fight, just not enough damage coming in from the Swain. Let's see how it all started off, as Rocco had shield up, stun came down just that little bit too late, and Spinach was already out of there before the play had really kicked off in earnest, and just kind of left Braddles, who doesn't have the flash, doesn't have the ghost, no mobility to his name. Tries his hardest, but just not quite enough of the drain coming through from the Swain at this stage of the game. He is going to go down at the end of that play, and a bit of a punch back for Frozen Hands is found in that last play, and see if they can keep the pressure on, because they definitely need to do so.
100%. The fact that Zeri hasn't really been shut down in this game, which I feel like was meant to be their focus, right? You've picked Vi to target Zeri, but now you're looking at this Mundo, 2-0-1 Mundo. This team said, we want to scale, we want to get in later into this game. Any Mundo as the game goes on. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I usually just shit myself.
Yeah, it definitely isn't fun, and it definitely feels like you need to have that heal reduction, and it's a question of who buys it. I think the Swain's probably the choice in this game, unless the Braum finds a spare 800 gold. Spinach is going to be able to sneak himself the first dragon in this game, so that is definitely going to be a positive for the Weaves, keeping themselves more or less ahead in this game, at least in terms of the tempo and the objectives and all that business. We get ourselves one of those, but I want to go back to the way that this game is probably going to play out in the fights, because that top one around the Grubs, a bit kooky, not a full team fight.
Yeah.
But it is definitely going to feel like a game where I think both sides kind of want to have their front line in the back line of the enemy team, that is. And then it becomes a question of what happens to the back line. Are they left alone?
Oh, but don't worry. Rattles again.
That's a lot
of
damage.
That's a flash coming out from Wake Up. Man, he really needs to stop being so sleepy. I can recommend some vitamins or something, because you are just getting blasted in this lane.
Really nicely played by Braddles. Conqueror pops. Gets to just run it, Wake Up, and yeah, he's nearly put to sleep. Gonna get the reset. Does have the ghost as well, so has all the tools available for the play that will potentially be happening. But right now, we're just waiting for Grubs, and that's 1 minute out. Reset coming out from Lucian in the top lane, by the way. That's not going to be confusing at all.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but don't worry. I think Lucian's just dead here. Starduck 3-0. That Heartsteal's online, very much so. Only 18 to it, but early on in this game. Heartsteal before 10 minutes is pretty damn good weapon.
It's pretty gross. And I don't know what the plan was there, because he clearly wanted to knock the passive off they've set up the proactive swap, so I guess the plan was back off, reset, go bot with your teleport, kind of trade your life away to create enough advantage for your bot lane to play a little bit more comfortably into the Mundo. But unfortunately, goes a bit too soon and pays through it with his life, and Mirai is picking up another kill. So it swings and roundabouts. There is some damage going to be coming out of the jungler role. You're going to have that Nash's online very soon. So at least some of your members are having a good time on the side of Frozen Hands. And I think if there is a front line for Zeri to play with, that does start to look a bit worrying as the game goes on.
Yeah, look, it's only one dragon. It's only 3 Void Grubs over. The second set of Void Grubs has just spawned. Now, Brattles is being looked at again. 3v1 has to flash, pops the demonic ascension. And now Ares is actually getting caught out and blasted if ever I've seen it. Ares gets a nice little shield and heal, but is it going to be enough? They might have to back off. They're just giving over Void Grubs here. If you get the 5, you're feeling good with that passive.
Yeah, and all the while you've got the Jax on the bot lane just wailing away at the tower, bonking it away, get himself a couple extra plates, potentially a collapse coming from Mirai, but I don't know if they'll be able to do anything else. It does feel like the Weaves are just that one step ahead. They were able to, even with the misstep of Jax giving away the kill in the top lane, they already had the proactive swap coming in to get priority for the grubs. They had Brattles look for the trade in mid lane aggressively to make sure that no one was going to collapse on Spinach. So it feels like the shot calling is just that little bit more crisp. And we've had this conversation, it feels like ad nauseum, at least this week, where it does feel like the team that comes out ahead at this level is always the one that's going to have that little bit more coordination.
Yeah, look, and we have seen games as well, even this week, where teams have sort of held on. They've sort of fought back. They've given themselves some openings. So I'd be excited to see. The gold lead's not all that different. In fact, it is dead even. So in these sorts of games, yes, one team might have a bit more objectives. They might have a little bit more, but the gold is there for a reason. And we can look at that right now. And it's actually all on Mundo right now, which is pretty rough. There's a lot on Brattles too. He's got a 1k gold over Silas. But Wake Up, he's just had a little bit too much melatonin, so we'll have to see how he's going to come back into this game. Hopefully, it's a scaling point of view.
Yeah, definitely. It has to be scaling of the conversation around Frozen Hands, but that is 5 grubs in the inventory, I guess. They're not really holding them. I don't really want grubs in my pocket, if I'm honest. That sounds awful.
Why not?
Wake Up.
Brattles. They looked at. Here comes Vi as well. Gets a big flash engage. They're both caught out. Cease and desist on top. Mirai's getting over that wall. The needlework's good, but the counter gank there was just too good from Spinach.
Just so good. And once again, it's that coordination. Spinach in the right place at the right time. As soon as the engage was started by Brattles, counter engage attempted by Wake Up, thinking he had some time alone, and just did not have it. And he is going to once again go down 0-4-3 on this Silas in a very important matchup. Remember, whoever loses this goes down to that lower bracket. Will have to play for that final chance to get into the playoffs, and you definitely don't want to be in that danger zone in the scary red bracket.
And I don't want to be in the red bracket, honestly. I've already got red hair. It's pretty rough to start with, so let's not worry too much about the red bracket. Hopefully they can turn this around. The cease and desist has been picked up by Wake Up, so I'd like to see them look to prioritize that and use it somewhere worthwhile. I'm looking bot, or maybe even looking to punish this Jax even more. He's low right now, and look at Mundo, who might even just be able to solo this, but no. Lucian does back out. The Jax surviving just for another day.
Will live for another day. Going to be popping the potion, I believe, to get a little bit extra health. He's got the shield as well, so he's going to regen, but that has to be a reset. At what point do you free my boy, honestly? At what point do you put the Swain into the Mundo?
I don't know. I don't know when you do that, but another fight coming out. Good dash is coming out. Right, wanting to keep this one going. Cease and assist is available, but now looks to see if they're going to keep going for this fight. We do see the wall pops up. The Fisher looks good. Wake Up has to flash over that wall, trying to slow them down. Prince Charming has a good shield, but Brattles throwing damage out. Little bit more damage, just enough. The flash forward isn't enough to land the Q and take out Wake Up. Wow, nice plays.
So close, but the dragon going to be traded over, so nothing really. Oh wait, hang on, a snipe. He must have sniped with the W.
He must have.
Okay, positive play for the Weebs as Jax dies under tower. Startup walks out alive because he's a window, I guess.
Looking pretty good. Nice to see the gold lead starting to go in the way of the Weebs. It's about 2k gold lead up now as well. Brattles feeling pretty good, but getting that Blackfire with the Morellos, the Oblivion Orb early. Always a nice pickup when you're versing a Stylist.
Yeah, and definitely against the Mundo as well. The heal reduction going to make a whole lot of sense. And well, I'll be curious to see where he deploys, because I think...
Oh my god, Chikawa. You are in the wrong state, my friend. You're going to get sent back because absolutely blasted from downtown. Brattles is happy with that, man. He is strong.
This mid laner is on his comfort pick. He is picking up kill after kill and has the Blackfire Torch, has the early healing reduction, which is going to come in so clutch against both solo laners. And we'll see where he deploys, because I think the decision has been made. The call's been made to put the Swain into the Mundo. Makes a lot of sense. You've already got the Blackfire Torch and the heal reduction online, so you make his life miserable. You can take away the passive from range, and it looks like they're looking for a full collapse on Starduck.
Starduck could be turned into Stardust, if you ask me, and that's those puns coming out. Maybe just committing to this tower, feeling pretty good. Might need to pop the ultimate, but no, it's just going to stay very good. The Sadism is being used, but can they hold out? The damage is there. The Oblivion Orb doing its job. I think Starduck is just mincemeat at this point. Fever used in the opposite direction. Now they're looking for even more in the mid lane. Is trying to turn around. Good Crystal Arrow lands, but Rai does get caught. But now Ares on the wrong side of that wall. There's no dash, and Prince Charming steals it. Look at Lucian too, picking up a kill there as well. The shutdown looks good. Mirai trying to make some plays for this team, and it just looks like frozen hands. They're getting clammy because they cannot pull off any of these plays.
Everywhere we look, it's just the Weebs trading up every single time. That time Kevin Bacon played that basically perfectly. Drew out the flash and the barrier, yes, but the counter engage with the arrow, walking down Ares, who just has not been able to get rolling on this area compared to his opposite number. They're both sitting on that Yuntal, but it's all about the value, right? It's the Ashe who has the passive. She's got that little bit of extra damage coming through, and she's going to be offering that little bit more to the team, whereas the team fights aren't really happening. The Zeri isn't able to get the setup that she wants. It's just been these disconnected skirmishes, and the Weeb's doing a great job of just controlling the map, trading up whenever they can, and making sure that Frozen Hands are always on the back foot.
Yes, that 4k gold lead now really starting to shine. Yes, it's one dragon apiece. We know it's a Mountain Soul as well weapon. That's going to look really good if Mundo and the Frozen Hands can get it, but at the same time, you can't ignore a Swain with that much shielding is going to be disastrous.
Yeah, absolutely. The Mountain Soul going to come in so clutch. Also a Vi diving in. She's definitely feeling a bit more vulnerable, a bit more squishy these days, but 3-0 and 2 has the Sun to Sky online for the extra healing, so we'll have that second item completion coming through very, very shortly.
Yeah, Black
so
Cleaver.
The Mountain Soul, Black Cleaver. With, I mean, Jax does magic damage, Ashe does... Yeah, okay, I get... Oh, sure. Movement speed, why not? Okay.
I guess.
I guess. Sure. There's probably better items, but it's movement speed. Anyway, yeah, she's gonna have that second item coming through. She is going to be very, very tanky once that one completes. And if you stack out that Mountain Soul, definitely will be effective for just setting up the dive and making sure that still Ares cannot play this game.
Yeah, look, keep them out. Don't let them fight again. We talked about how this Zeri was going to fit into this whole team coordination. It's the one thing we mentioned right at the start too, is how do we want to see these teams get better? And how can we see them progress forward? And it comes down to communication and coordination. And although they've taken the tower off them, they've dropped the Rift Herald down bot side though too. Getting a charge off. Look at the Void Grubs as they're about to spawn out as well. That's a lot of minions. Now they should be able to trade 1 for 1 in the tier 2 towers. Looking for a second ride though, because Mundo Gwen is still trying to take that tier 3, and they're just charging forward. The smite's there. Crystal Arrow slithers past. The Lucian as well, very low, but here comes Prince Charming, getting the slows off as well. But now they get to back out. Both actually getting a bit of damage, but I feel like the Weeb's got the best end of that stick.
Definitely feels like it. It's an even trade, and sometimes the conventional wisdom holds that the even trade goes in the favor of the team that's losing. And in this case, it is only slightly for Frozen Hands that they're about that 3k goal behind, and that is going to equate to that second item coming through that little bit sooner. But yeah, all things said and done, pretty even, and you have to think that the Weebs are quite happy with that. I think the big thing is that this lane assignment, the Mundo into the Jax, is exactly what Frozen Hands want. And while the Swain is occupied elsewhere, you can see right now he's getting that mid-prio, setting up for the Dragon. The Jax just has to suffer. So that's probably the one point of how you have to play through as Frozen Hands, where if they can group up around it, maybe get the Gwen up towards that top side like they did previously, you can see they nearly got a kill on, I think it was Prince Charming. It's been a long day in Resolution. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, the Jax got very, very low.
Yeah, with Atakan as well now being spawned, we just saw a beautiful look of it. Is that the Ravenous, I believe, weapon?
Yep, sure is.
Classic.
Orange Atakan is on the map. We were talking about this in the pre-show. Are you not a card game guy?
Like, I am kind of a card game guy. I collect card games. I don't play them.
Oh, right. So you haven't played Bololtro yet?
No.
Okay, you should play it. It's pretty good.
Oh, is this the one on the client?
Yeah.
Oh, I played that, man. I'm almost finished hard. Oh, Mirai can be caught out, though. Looking pretty good as now Spinach gets the cease and desist going back into the wrong side. Crystal Arrow hits. Lucian picks up their kill, and look at Ares now trying to get some damage off Spinach. Wants to get over that wall, get out of dodge. They do secure it. Now they should be looking to head up top side.
All right, just an easy pick there. The Ashe coming in clutch. Brattle's playing bodyguard. You don't get to walk past, but it's just so coordinated. They're finding the exact picks they need to, and there's no objective on the map, so it's just a bit of extra gold. But as soon as they see the target, they have the tools to lock them down. It could be that Atakan started up very soon. Lucian could be walking up to this. I guess he can solo it.
He's got the Triforce, he's got the walk, but I think with the Void there, I think you're pretty good. I think you're pretty sweet. That's looking like some good damage. They are spotted out on those minions, though, so they are well aware that it's happening. Wake Up sadly has left the game. There's the pause. Welcome to Oceania. And look,
oops.
I'm just going to wait this one out, you know? I'm just going to see what's going on, because pause has happened, Weapon. It's okay. Wake Up still just trying to... Obviously, the computer didn't get the memo either. Trying to wake up.
Bit of lag, maybe.
And that's okay, you know? Like, we deal with it. Now, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the current game state. Where are these teams heading? Obviously, we're seeing Weebs are on this beautiful Voracious Itakan. They secure that. What does that mean? What does that mean for us?
It means that you just get to dive with impunity. That previous play we saw where Spinach just threw himself in as soon as he saw the target, the Ashe Arrow came in afterwards. Brattles is able to just play with impunity on the front line. We just get more of that. And here it is. You already had Lucian on the flank, so he was able to pick up the kill with the Counter-Strike. And Ares just does not have enough damage at this stage of the game to really say anything about it. I don't even know if he committed the ultimate. That probably would have been potentially the difference maker, but we're back to live, and Atakan is going down, and we set the stage. You can just start to make plays now as the Weaves, and this is looking like they're going to that last chance, that upper bracket, so to speak, whereas Frozen Hands are probably bound for the lower bracket. We're frozen because this is what happens after a pause.
That's right. Another weird pause where you can see everything, and I wonder if we can get into the cool...
We're drifting?
We're actually moving.
Now, Kale is very good with the... I was going to put him under a bit of pressure and make him give us a funky camera angle, but we're not going to have time.
I think he's okay with that too. He's like, nah, let's not worry about it. Let's focus on the game first. That's very stressful. But
the one thing this does do as well is on this side lane, you actually aren't as scared to take these trades and push the pace a little bit against Stardark, where previously you were. Also have the Blade of the Ruin King completed, which is not an item we see a lot on Jax these days, but I don't mind it. I don't hate it. It makes a lot of sense. You've got a big chunky boy to cut through, and a Blade of the Ruin King will do that.
Look, chopping up cheese if you ask me, but still... There's no cheese in this game as they're sending out that little hawk shot just to see where people are at. Stardark didn't get that chance to reset. They took the tier 2 top side. That is all tier 2s down for the side of Frozen Hands. They are well confined to their base at this point. Yes, we're seeing Stardark walk around and roam and try and put pressure on. But when the rest of the team just feels this far behind Weapon, it feels like it's a little bit of a lost cause.
Yeah, it definitely does. And super pushing, definitely in solo queue, you can have that one guy left unattended on the side lanes, but in competitive, you will get collapsed on, and that's always going to happen with the tools that you have available. Yes, you're a Mundo, and you've got the passive, but the Ashe Arrow, you've got the Counter-Strike, you've got a lot of tools to make sure that that person who is overextended is going to overextend and get killed for it. And you've also got priority in your other lanes. You can see, even as the Mundo was attempting to hit that tier 2 in the bot lane, the response was take tier 2 in the top. So you've just again just traded up for the waves and now setting themselves up around this spawning dragon in 1 minute's time, getting full control, trying to make sure that they know exactly where the approach is going to be coming from Frozen Hands. There is a teleport for Starduck, so he's a tanky boy. Get him in the back line. Maybe buy some time and some space for Ares to rip the cord and do some work. But it has to be a bit of a desperation move. And I think if you're going to start finding the comeback, it has to be around this dragon in 55 minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, 55 seconds.
50 seconds now where the clock...
55 minutes. Look, there is potential that a dragon might spawn in 55 minutes somewhere.
If this game goes for an extra 55 minutes, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, end the game already, you're full build. But, okay, Undying Despair already picked up for Mundo, so that is going to be so much harder to kill. Yes, you have a little bit of anti-heal, but that's still a 3-item Mundo, 4-1-1. It's looking pretty good. You cannot deny, though, weapon, that Brattles is looking strong. 4-1-5, Leandres and a Blackfire completed. That is a lot of burn.
Yeah, and the Baron is also spawning as well, so... you've got the choice of which one you want to go for. It looks like it's going to be the dragon right now, and there's going to be no contest here for Frozen Hands. So that is likely going to be the sole point. Looks like no one's even considering a contest at this point. They're waiting for their next opportunity. They're waiting to get more items on this Zeri, get her online, who has unfortunately had to pick up a little green sword, which is a sad sight.
It's not that sad. It sucks, but it's not that sad. Like, I think it makes sense, like, because you got the Hurricane now too. You do a little bit more that DPS and sort of like that extended damage over multiple champions. I understand that. I feel like it's more sad because you don't want to see Zeri having to build anything like that. You want to put it on the rest of your team. I wouldn't be surprised if we should have seen Mundo picking up like a Thornmail, which is probably where I imagine your head was actually at their weapon. But still, yeah. I think at the end of the day, they're dealing with what they've got, and now it looks like Weebs are just starting this Baron because they said, you know what? Damn your vision control. We'll put more vision out.
Yeah, you know what? When I'm color casting, I should make the logical point. That's correct. As the fight potentially starting here, Kevin Bacon has the arrow edge engaged.
And look at Starduck, he's into the back line. The flank is there, but the Baron should just be gone at this point. They do secure it, locked down to the side of Weaves, but now the rest of the team's got, look at Brattles. This is actually a monster mesh because you are burning them alive, and it's absolutely disgusting to see. The shutdown looks good for Starduck, but it doesn't matter when Brattles is an absolute fiend. But it's actually a double kill heading over for Braum. Who would have thought this pool party good-looking man got it done?
Big, muscly, and ripped, kind of looking a little bit of Maui energy from Moana, but he gets it done, gets a couple of kills, and it's a massive fight for the Waves, and it's just Brattles being so tanky. Ash lands the arrow, and the engage just gets the cord gets pulled on the engage. You can see Mundo on the flank tries to be that body. He tries to wade into the fight to occupy space for the Zeri to work, but the Zeri is dead before the fight can even really begin for Frozen Hands, and they are frozen by the Braum. They're walked down, and now pressure just coming in from all angles. Their base is just being ripped to shreds.
Oh, man. And look, the game's just going to sort of get worse and worse from here. It's almost that 10k gold lead. Weapon, what can we even talk about at this point? Do we want to start talking about Valorant or something? Like, how do you find it? Tell me more about this card game. How do I do good things in this card game?
Well, apparently our observer is the expert because he managed to pull like 1,000 damage combo pretty consistently. Like, I don't know what he's doing. I think the double dyad thing is busted, but yeah, I mean we're still in this game, and Frozen Hands, maybe to their chagrin, also still are in this game. They still have a Gwen who can. She's not the most scale. She doesn't have that scaling threat that she might have previously had, but she does still do more and more damage as the game goes on, gets those items online. Looks like it's going to be a Lich Bane, so a little bit of extra damage if she does find that flank angle onto a target. When you're talking about flanks, you're talking about the Ashe, and you're talking about the supporting cast, so it starts to get a little bit dire the more you look at it. But I think it has to be some sort of miracle play with Silas and Gwen finding the key target in the Ashe and somehow not being able to interact with the Swain.
Yeah.
We probably should just talk about the card game.
Look, at this point, they're just going to walk down this bot lane and just take that final tier 3. Looking pretty tasty. That's a good bite right there. Just gone. Looks like they can just sort of walk this one in, right? Like it's similar to Arsenal. They always walk it in. Very similar for Weebs. They always love their anime. So still, we're going to have to see if they can take down this next inhib. It looks like it should be a pretty fair deal. Spinach taking a bit of damage, but not all that much. And now it looks like Mariah wanting to make a little bit of a play happen as Braddles at the focus. Look at the top side, 2 Starducks getting jumped on. And there's a lot going in. Braddles has to pop that demonic, but is it going to be enough as they're still just walking at them? The burn is so big. Lucian picked up Karma there as well. And this should just be the end of the game weapon because it is just too easy. Lemon squeezy. And it's just a free game for the side of Weebs, and they're so chuffed. Braddles will be holding his head high and saying, don't give me Swain, guys. It's a bad call.
His most played champion by far in solo queue, as far as I can tell, and made it work in this game. Looked absolutely huge, got that first kill over the Silas, and from there became massive. And Walk Down, I think, is the story of this game.
Yeah.
Because they were just, there was a Juggernaut on the other side, but it felt like the entire team of the Weaves were the Juggernaut, because once they started rolling, they did not stop. They just slowly advanced, kind of rolled over like a steamroller, and the game was basically just unplayable from about the halfway point onwards. So the good news is you will still have another chance.
That's right.
I believe there is that one final chance to qualify on the Frozen Hand side. But the great news is that if you are on the Weebs, you also get another chance, but this time you're playing for the big one to get into the playoffs.
And that's what you want, right? That's what you want. Now, we can talk about how good that we saw the Weebs were, but let's not worry about them right now. If you're looking at Frozen Hands, what would you like to see them do differently moving forward? They're heading down into the lower bracket. What do you think they could clean up to sort of save them, get a bit of saving grace?
Yeah, I mean, this draft was very... They didn't set themselves up in the draft very well, I would say. I think they got kind of put into a corner where as soon as they picked the Zeri, there was you knew the Enchanter was going to come out, and they took away the best ones, which was the Lulu and what was the other one they took away? I can't recall. So I think overall a bit of a draft iffy, but then also the execution was very, very good, and they only really gave themselves that one consistent threat. Silas really does need to dive and didn't have the ability to dive in this game, and maybe some more attention from the jungler towards that mid lane early on would potentially would have been the issue, would have been the win. But they don't get the win. They go to the lower bracket. They get another chance. Maybe they can reset, find the win next week.
Look, and that's okay. Next week we'll all be here. But guys, we're going to go to a short break. Don't forget, stick around. We've got one more match coming up. It's actually going to be Hardstuck Attica versus the Monks. You know those Monks are going to be flurry of blows. You just know it's going to happen. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to game number dos as we're heading in for the OCC day. Tres? I don't know what. I don't know. Tres is 3 in Spanish. We're in Oceania, so do I just go like,
well,
where's my diary?
Spanish.
I almost said a bad word at the end of that too, so let's not worry about that either.
Yeah,
but still, it's day 3, Weapon. We're at the game number 2. We're looking good. It's going to be Hardstuck Attica versus the Monks. Talk to me a little bit about these teams.
Yeah, so this is another couple of teams we don't know a whole lot about. They're in that lower bracket, so there's some players we haven't really seen a lot of before. I believe we did cast one of their games maybe in week 1, but that's I am getting old. My memory is not what it used to be. So look, we will certainly see once we get into it. One thing we do know is this is down to the wire for these teams. This is the moment where they need to show what they've got, because if they don't, they're going home. And one of these teams will be, I say going home, they're already home. They're playing from home. They're out of this tournament. And yeah, this is the moment. Step up, put up, shut up.
Go hard. You go home. And they're probably playing from home, so it's even worse. Like, you probably don't even want to go out and see your parents after this. Like, they are going to just flame you. And you get enough of that in League of Legends anyway. But again, let's look at these players, because we don't really know too much about them. Let's just walk through it. Let's put out a random prediction for these players, right? So 10-10, Nexus, someone else won, Felix, and Switcher. Any of those players that you're going to be like, yeah, this is the guy.
I really could not say, honestly.
This is a bold prediction. We have no idea. Bold prediction.
Okay, sure. Look, I'll say Imperator has the coolest name on Feng Shui Monks, so we'll go with that one.
I was going to go with Laquan.
Yeah, Laquan is also very cool.
Sick name. I'm like, I want to watch that jungler.
We got some time to fill, and we also really don't have a lot of narrative about these teams going in.
Let's make a narrative. Let's make it up. Let's just imagine these guys have been playing forever.
I want to talk about what you said before, because imagine, like, you know, your parents don't really understand League of Legends, so you tell them, like, oh, I'm playing in tournaments, this is going to be cool.
Yeah.
And then you lose. So, like, what you got to have really supportive parents. And I'm remembering when Violet and his brother, who's the other one?
Draymond.
Dore. Used to play in the same house. On different teams.
Yeah, it was Ion and was it Bliss? I think it was Bliss.
I think it was was it Antic? No, I think you're right. It was Bliss.
Yeah, I think
yeah. Like imagine that. Imagine hearing the other person screaming their comms in the other room. But anyway, we do have a game in front of us. This is a very important one, and we should give it the gravitas that it deserves, because as I said, one of these teams is going home. So this is where the pressure starts to be on, and a lot of these players, we don't have a lot of these players who are coming in with a lot of competitive experience. This is where the rubber meets the road, and this is where you start to feel that pressure, and we'll see if anyone who is able to manage that pressure of being in a tournament. I mean, yes, you're playing in the comfort of your home, but it is still a competitive tournament. It's still an environment where you've got some of the best players in OCE in this tournament, and they're waiting in the wings if you make it through here. So you definitely have to be feeling a bit of that pressure, Pike.
Look, and I'm feeling that pressure, right? I've got that. The anxiety is definitely building right now. But again, I want to talk about the people in chat who are talking about and giving us the good narrative right now, because the first one I saw was from
let's hear
Bad Memory Os. Is literally just gone, I heard Gary came in and took McChicken's role and forced him to be Yumi to be his pet. I was like, you know what? If that's not League of Legends, I don't know what is. I'm like,
thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Chat's holding it down for us.
They're just getting real ballsy with it. Laquan is going to dominate. I like it. Laquan's the guy that I was calling out. You know what? Mad prediction. They're going to play Skarner. They're going to hard carry.
All right.
Laquan, you heard me. And if that's actually true, production, you let me know. If I get it right, I might be a soothsayer. I might be an Istar. I've been watching a lot of Rings of Power again. Weapon, did you ever watch that show?
No, I never watched it.
Okay, highly recommend. It's very good. It's Lord of the Rings, but like pre-Lord of the Rings. Different time. Very good.
The prequel, I guess.
Kinda. Well, it's not the prequel, because that's the Similarian. That's a whole nother prequel. That's Morgoth and stuff. You know,
frankly, they will never make a show out of that.
They should, though. That would be nuts. It's a huge bloody war.
How would you even do it? It's just
called
too much.
CGI. I'll be Morgoth. I
Maybe
could do
they
it.
Animate it.
Morgoth's probably a big fiery dude. I can match that energy. Like, who knows?
Yeah. Well, while we've got some time to fill, we've got a draft happening in the background. I'm looking at some OPGGs. Let's see if we can make some actual. So Imperator, I'm going to predict that we're probably going to see at least a ban on the Azir because Azir apparently is just what this guy plays.
All right.
Feng Shui Master. I don't know if they're playing top. They play top in solo queue. But I feel like we've seen them in support. Everyone role swaps as well when we come to these tournaments. So I don't know. I digress. I think we're just gonna have to fill time with podcasting, dude.
No, you know what? Let's go back to Rings of Power. No, I'm kidding. Let's talk about League. Okay. So let's talk about what are we excited for the next upcoming split of like pro scenes. Is there any pro scene that you really love watching? Weapon that you're always a big fan of, that you're excited to see some teams?
Oh, dude, I gotta say, I am super loving the rise of tier 2. Like, we just had Near Airport play their first games in the NACL, and that's hype as hell. They didn't win, but it was a competitive series. I think it was a 2-1 for Luminosity. And over in Europe, we had the NLC, which of course Los Rotones played in.
Oh, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, of course. But even before then, we've had the ERLs have been incredible. Like we've had the LFL that was filling out stadiums. The Greek League, I've heard, has an incredible local fandom. And like that's what we need here.
Yes.
That's what we need to build here. And we're starting it right here with the OCC.
That's right.
Hopefully there's more on the way, at least this level, and someone else is going to run something cool, because that's what I want to see. You know, we have Asia Masters over here.
Yeah.
We have literally the equivalent of the EMEA Masters, previously known as the EU Masters. And we didn't send a team.
Look, we don't know why that decision was, but there's another side to that though, Weapon, as well. If we want to see these tier 2s coming up and being a bit more of a tier 1, tier 2 here in Oceania, you know what you got to start getting into? You got to start hitting up our boys Sans Perel down below. All this coaching. If you want to start leveling up your game, you got to level up with these guys, because they're going to be, I think it's the team that wins this gets free coaching, and that's under Schernfire himself, the true GOAT, the man of myth. The man of mystery, even. I don't know. He's probably done some weird stuff. But still, I'm curious to see, like, if you win this, what that training looks like. Because honestly, I've been thinking about getting some coaching. There are any coaches out there who do mid lane, Fizz and Yone specifically, I'll hit you up. Just send me a DM. Because I'm currently plat, Weapon. I'm plat. I've got dreams of diamond. Sadly, I'm not that good at mining yet. I feel like I've been doing it wrong. I've been looking at Bitcoin.
You need a steel pickaxe, I think, at least to get diamonds, because otherwise they dissipate.
Steel pickaxe?
Pretty sure that's how it works.
Man, I've been using a wooden spoon.
Yeah, I mean, don't use a wooden pickaxe either. But Sansperel, of course, hit him up. And the team that wins this will be getting that coaching. And the one thing we do know is that at the end of the year, there will be a promotion relegation tournament for the LCP. So there will be chances for essentially all of the players in this tournament, especially some of those ones we're seeing sitting in that upper bracket. There's some very familiar names there, to potentially be that team that makes the run and replaces the Chiefs in the LCP. It's all possible. And tournaments like this are a great way to get those reps in, get the competitive experience that you need to climb the ranks and be ready for that promotion relegation. The great news, I'm hearing draft music.
I'm not hearing any draft music, but that doesn't matter because I can see draft on my screen. We got a Singe being banned. I've never seen a Singe being banned in any program, I think, ever in my entire life. So it's either a target ban or they're just having a bit of a laugh at Atakar's just saying, like, you know what, let's just ban every random champion we can think of. But
maybe they're spelling something.
Is this going to be one of those games where I get to like eat my burger at the same time? Because I got sick burgers here that I want to just...
I mean, you can just...
I'm not doing it now. I'm not doing it.
We'll see how the game goes. But, like, I think this was the patch where the Singe had the change, which made it so he can always last hit minions, I think. I don't really pay attention to Swain changes because there's only one person in competitive who plays it. And that is... oh, my God. Who's the support in Korea who plays the support Singe? I'm blanking. It's okay. These are some weird bans.
Yep.
Singe, Lulu, Shaco.
Yep.
We're targeting, and I guess we're just taking away comfort. Yeah.
Aatrox, Samira also being banned out on the 4th and 5th ban. Kind of a good spot to have them. Irelia on that 3rd ban. Because we're kind of going backwards in that, and I vibe with that a little bit. But that's Nefiri being hovered and locked in. This is apparently I've just learned about this. Nefiri is now the AD Fizz. Am I wrong?
Yeah, so rework on this patch came through. She now has her W and her R switched. The R is the dash, of course, now. So if you get a kill with it, it gets a reset. W makes you invulnerable and untargetable for a few seconds, and then afterwards you get movement speed and AD. So you can expect to see a lot of dives from this champion where she will find that target. Also, the dash is no longer blockable. So if she finds the target, and hey, you've just given them one. That's a Zeri. She gets reset on the dash. And this will likely be in the jungle role for Nexus. So once that level 6 gets hit, consider it to be kind of along the line of something like a Nocturne. You will see it go bot lane. You will see it try and kill that Zeri. Fortunately, there's a cat riding on her, so it might be a little bit harder.
What is going on, Weapon? Why is Zeri so sought after? Why are Yumis in these games? I thought Yumi was dead. I thought they deleted that code from the game. Clearly, I'm wrong. But what's going on? Why is it here? I'm confused and a little bit sad.
Yeah, I mean Zeri Yumi rather. Zeri Lulu, Zeri Yumi both do the same thing. It's a support, an enchanter that gets to sit on the Zeri and make sure she lives. It makes sense when you're looking at something that's looking fairly dive centric from the Heartstock Attica side, the Nefiri, the Ashe. You could certainly go for that Braum answer. It would not be bad. I think any engaged support here on the B3 side would not go awry, because you have to think that you're losing at least one, maybe two of those on that second rotation of bans. So I think you lock it in here. Let's see Braum. Show me Braum.
Show me Nautilus. Show me Leona. We got Braum. Like,
there
obviously, it makes so much sense. We just saw Ashe Braum dominate a Zeri in that last game. So why not? Why break? Don't fix it. If it's not broken.
Not broke. Yep.
Got there in the end.
Right there. Same page. Same brain.
Look, we're getting there.
Pick here.
Yeah, do you want to play by play today?
No, that's a disaster waiting to happen. I have felt so. Fun story. My first cast for Sumsock way back in the day.
Oh wow.
I was fresh off of just casting RF LAN. There's the Zero locked in, and I had to fill in for play by play. And one of my fellow casters at the time, who is now retired, Steffo, arrived late because he was on the second game and said, "Dude, I'm pulling you out. I'm jumping in." Yeah, that's the extent of my play-by-play experience.
It's a good career right there. One game.
Yeah, one game got pulled out by my co-caster. The Azir locked in means we have disjointed roles. It could certainly be the Nefiri in the mid lane, but we expect that is probably going to be going into the jungle. So looking at things like my new favorite champion, the Zed, but of course the Akali, the Sylas as the answers to that Azir in the mid lane. Of course, you hit that breakpoint, hit level 6, and you can go for that execution play on the Azir. But until that point, you suffer. We'll see if that's the direction they want to go for.
Yeah.
You can also match the poke. We've seen some kooky stuff like the Xerath in the past. But of course, things like Orianna Syndra also work nicely. But it is going to be a bit of a takeaway of the top laners. Hey, Mundo, again. What's going on?
Bruh, these drafts confuse me, man. I'm so lost. Like, I can't predict anything. There is no way. Look, they took away the Skarner. Maybe they heard me say, yeah, Laquan's going to get that Skarner in hard carry. They obviously fear my prediction there. But still, like, Mundo being banned, I understand a Fiora, like, circumstantial. So they're probably going to be looking at, like, a tank top lane because, Fiora is the clear tank buster, but it's a side laner. Like, are they looking to do a 1-4 split? Like, why would you ban Mundo in that instance then? Like, it just feels... There's a Hecarim now as well. Like, where's the AP? Don't worry, it's Azir. I'm just confused by all of this. But still, like, I'm just confused by this. I don't know.
I'm not hating it in terms of something that can help the Zeri engage. Yeah, because there's two ways you can play it, right? You can put a meatball in front of the Zeri and just have someone bodyguard her while she shoots you from behind the tanks. Or you can create the threat inside the enemy backline and give Zeri the room to work and kind of create a distraction, basically. The problem is that now you have extra peel. And you've got, once again, the same story as the last game where you've got a Braum. You've now got a Galio and a Volibear to work through. And the targets that you could potentially be diving are a Nefiri and an Ashe. And that's probably going to be the Nefiri in the mid lane. So confirmation of that.
No,
it's a draft that I'm really loving.
I have a feeling that's a Galio mid into the Azir. Makes a lot of sense. Nefiri jungle, Volibear top.
Yeah, no, you've actually nailed it. That is correct.
Yeah.
Completely disregarded the Galio Neferi in the jungle. So, yeah, the draft is looking really good for Hardstock Adakar, and a little bit harder to execute for the Feng Shui monks.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I think it's a lot of CC as well. Like if you try to go in, like you said, you just get stopped. You have a Braum, you have an Ashe, you do have a Galio with that CC. Volibear is going to be happy to just jump on you too. I am curious to see how this Olaf's going to go into the Volibear. That matchup, statistically, I think is actually Olaf favored because you are just a bit more of a bully. But with this team around him, with a Neferi that can jump you from probably a fair mile away, Olaf has to be very careful with that Ragnarok and pulling that off at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's only going to be like those few seconds of invulnerability, so that is going to be a problem if it runs out.
Apparently,
and of course, you do have a Neferi.
Apparently, we got to talk about Laquan's Hecarim. The chat's going nuts about Laquan's Hecarim.
Laquan's Hecarim, it's here.
It's massive, guys. This is the biggest thing.
Pick for this player. This is the greatest thing to ever happen in a competitive League of Legends. And frankly, I think this means that Laquan will just hard carry.
Yep. I said Laquan would hard carry, did I not?
That's it. Yeah.
I said it, man.
He's got the comfort pick.
I know. He's got that comfort. He didn't need the Skarner because he got that big old Scorpion band away. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to bring out a horsey. And we know horses beat all kinds of other animals. They beat crocodiles and they beat deers. We know this. It's confirmed. Go watch the OLI. We talked about it there. So let's have a look at this game. I'm keen to go in whenever we're ready, guys, because this game just looks like it's going to be a shellacking. And I don't say that word very often because they haven't even changed positions yet. So I don't know where they're confirmed going. If it's a Yuumi top, I swear I'll enjoy the cast more. Straight up.
I think that's actually the strategy. A bit of Lolo action in the top lane. Yeah, I got to say, the draft is looking a bit scuffed. You've got a lot of peel on one side. We've set the narrative pretty much correctly, and hey, there's the swap. Neferi in the jungle. On the Hecarim, I think if everyone presses their R buttons at the same time on Feng Shui Monk, Feng Shui Monks, it's not bad. There are angles. Well, you find that target.
Talk to me about these angles.
Blows up you're blowing up an Ashe first.
Yeah.
Of course, then there are other threats, and you get locked down and killed. But if you find that pick, maybe find that member out of position with the Hecarim Fear, knock them back. Zeri gets the kill, gets the resets. You're kind of working through 4 melee champions from there. Yeah. And you've got the Hurricane, so you kill the doggies fast. There are angles for this game to be workable for Feng Shui Monk. We're probably doing a bit of a disservice by writing them off in draft. It's just that we've seen that work really well on the side of Hardstock Adakar before, literally minutes ago.
The only disadvantage I can see for the monks is they're actually not even playing the monk. Laquan's picked Hecarim, not playing Lee Sin. Straight up, that's an L right there. Like, you have already disadvantaged your whole team. Are there any other monks in the game?
Well, I think Karma's technically a monk.
Karma?
Aurelia might be.
I thought, isn't technically, Zed and all the shadow assassins, or they're assassins, right? They're ninjas.
They're monks of a sword.
That's kind of a monk?
They're part of a religious order, so that one counts, sure.
Kane? Kinda? Yeah, it's a scythe, though. I guess. I probably wouldn't say that. That's not all right. Yeah. But the other side, though, look, we're looking at Adakar. There's no cars either. They're not playing Corporate Mundo. He's not driving that Ferrari. Where's the drive-bys, man? They're meant to be hard stuck too. Are they diamond? Are they anything? My webcam's just shit itself, guys.
Yeah,
I apologize.
Ventriloquist act right now. It's really cool. I don't know what does Adakar mean. I don't know if the chat can tell me. I don't have the chat open. I think you do. If you're still with me, Pike. No, with me. Production says game moments away, so you get to hear us stop waffling in seconds, and we'll be looking at a video game. It's been promised. Yep.
Games. You know what? Me disconnected a little bit. The quad. They're playing the coolest here skin.
Yeah, the new one, very cool. 30 seconds. Yeah, he's attorney at law. Okay, apparently we're having some mic issues. It's all good. Audio is our producer's favorite thing. He loves it. And also, I love that every time we talk about a skin. Yeah, there we go. That sounds great. Yep, look, sounds awesome. Do you have a mouthful of burger? Maybe. Okay. I love every single time. This is just a thing. Our observer is going to give us the fashion show. Really good stuff. That is a really cool Hecarim skin. As we just have a bit of a line of scrimmage, both sides not willing to risk anything, because remember, this is the lowest of the brackets. You lose here, you are out of the tournament. You do not get the chance to play in that next round to potentially secure yourself into the playoffs. This is do or die. So you've got a couple of lives. If you win this, you've got absolutely none left if you lose. And iToys going to be clearing from the bot to the top, looking to potentially set up around this roller bear. Could be a bit of a skip into the bot side potentially, but I think you're completely fine, because that bot lane are going to be very much controlled by the Ashe Braum, you have to think. There's not really a lot to Zeri and Yuumi can do a lot besides, maybe a bit of poke back and forth.
Yeah, it's a bit of like sustaining, right? It's just all on Yuumi to just keep this Zeri healthy so that she can just last hit as many minions as she can.
Tenten's mauling Feng Shui.
Oh, man. Bears versus like big buff.
Vikings?
Yeah, Vikings, I guess. Like, I would assume Bears win that, but arguably Vikings have done a pretty good job in the past, so...
Yeah, I feel like Vikings are well equipped to face down Bears, but apparently Feng Shui Masters is not holding his own there and is going to be going down CS, wave crashing under tower. Olaf decent at last hitting that under tower, so he's going to catch some of it, but it's definitely not what you want to see. As soon as that level 2 was hit, had to back away, and Volibear doing completely fine in his matchup. That's a bouncing wave. Felix is going to be running down Dom's pet. And
look, it's going to be
a decent amount of damage traded back.
Yeah, look, I'm not really worried about this laning phase, right? I don't think we're going to see a very kill-heavy game once again. I think it's going to sort of snowball a little bit more as those objectives come up, like we sort of saw in the last one. And look, 10-10 as well now, just blasting Master, but can he get the damage off? They're both level 3. Who actually gets the better of this? And there's the flash coming out and a beautiful shot. Just as I say there's going to be no kills, we see the Monks taking that early lead.
Feng Shui Master actually manages to get the slight outplay with the cooldown abuse. As soon as the W is used, no further sustain, no further damage was going to come out in terms of burst. So he was able to get the axe down with the reset. I think it was a flash into that final E and auto attack that got the kill, but does get the work done. And this bot lane, we were talking about how it should be favoring the Ashe and the Braum early on. Maybe the Yuumi poke has been mattering, because Felix is below half health and is actually under their tower, and that's the second wave that has been sent under that tower by that Zeri Yuumi duo. So, look, I might have just underestimated it. This one actually sucks to play against if you're Ashe Braum.
Yeah, no, 100%. Now that I'm starting to eat my crow, very much like a Viking, I think that's a thing. Yeah, this Zeri Yuumi combo, I was doubting it. I was a bit of a hater. I'm not a fan of Yuumi, I'll be honest, but maybe this is why I'm not a fan of Yuumi, because it always punishes me. So it's nice to see.
And the other thing is, we just haven't seen Yuumi in competitive for a long time, so we don't know what the shape of this champion is. It turns out Zeri Yuumi is just still really, really good. Cat shaped, yeah, on a book. She looks like that. Toys going to be looking for a gank, unfortunately is going to find a ward instead, so the respite not coming for this bot lane. And with that kill in the top lane, Olaf now has the double longsword in inventory, more combat stats. El Chippy Laquan on his patented Hecarim just power clearing through the jungle. Could be looking for a dive here.
And wave's pretty pushed, but now Dom's pet as well. Having to sort of be very careful as the exhaust goes down. Can he get through that shield fast enough? Dom's pet is happy with that trade. Neferi is here. The flash goes forward. The cleanse is already used. Shield, exhaust is there. Flashes again. Dom's pet is gone. Toys happy to pick that up. Now this is the classic dog versus cat race. And Toys just charging them down. Felix might have to slow back up very soon, but no, Smojo so low, and the cat escapes. It jumped over the fence.
Normally a free double kill when you get that Yuumi passenger or Yuumi driver down, but this time the Yuumi is able to get away against all odds. I think Felix is not quite in position to throw down the auto attacks and wasn't able to slow up the target. So Smojo gets away. A kill does go over into the Neferi, so a little bit of extra gold going to help the Neferi get to that level 6 early on, and is going to bolster their chances in this game, but still looking relatively even, slightly favored towards Feng Shui Monks. Switcher looking for an angle in mid lane. I don't think he's going to find anything here.
Paranoida just being pretty cautious. Like, again, it's definitely the winning matchup for Azir here. You do get to scale. You are into a matchup where a Galio has to try and be as proactive possible just to stop you from farming, but you always have the range. You have good poke. So I feel like Galio is going to be at that disadvantage until it comes to those big team fights.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the big hero's entrance for the Galio. As soon as someone dives in, it's probably going to be the Nefiri finding the Zeri. You get to pile on top, throw down the crowd control. Laquan starting up this dragon, I think it's completely uncontested. He did walk over a ward, I believe, so no, I don't think they have any idea. So it's just going to be a trade of objectives across the map, and you're stacking up those grubs on the side that doesn't really get to see the enemy towers. So this is completely fine if you are on the Feng Shui Monks, whereas Toys, he's getting the consolation prize, he's getting the grubs, he gets experience for himself, which will get him towards level 6. That's really about all that feels good for Hardstock Adhikar.
Yeah, 100%. Really, really nice to see them starting to pick them up and now going straight into that jungle just to see what little things they can pick up for free. I believe there is a red buff that should just be going over, but yeah, 3 avoid grubs. Like, do you think it is ultimately bad? Like, I guess you did say that they're not going to see the towers, but now that's a stun. Looks like Doms could be picked up. It's a lot coming out. This is what we want to start seeing. Here comes El Chippies, though. When you got a horse and a cat, usually you're probably watching something like Shrek, and another kill up topside. The Ragnarok was just so good to cancel out that CC.
It's just the blasting one in Inverhora. You can't afford to take those fights as 10-10 and now 0-2. His woes continue, but on the bot side, Nefiri.
Toys coming in. Nice little jump from outer space and a good shutdown weapon.
As soon as the level 6 comes in, think about this champion as Nocturne, and Mojo is going to take a bunch of damage, going to live, but you have to think about this new Nefiri in terms of Nocturne. That level 6 so crucial. If you find that kill, sets you up for the rest of the game as a wraparound gank. El Chippy.
Crystal Arrow goes out, but it's not enough as you do see Ashe in the wrong spot.
Flash.
Felix is caught. The fear is good. Now Switcher just needs one more auto attack. No, you walked away, Chippy.
Just isn't going to find the kill, and the E falls short. That's awkward. Unfortunate. Couple of plays going back towards the Hardstock side, but overall it does feel like Feng Shui have had their run of the map. They've certainly had the run of the laning phase just off of the matchups that they've managed to draft themselves in the top and mid, and we were expecting both sides to kind of play it conservatively, you know, or at least the losing sides to play it conservatively, not go for any of those risks. But unfortunately 10-10 has taken fights that he really has had no business taking. The Ashe and the Braum can really kind of play their threat and just play wave clear with the W and just keep the Zeri Yuumi pinned under the tower most of the time. But I think the Yuumi has been finding the poke, finding the damage to keep this lane uncomfortable, and that has made this a very competitive early game for the Feng Shui Monks. And now it's a 2-2 Zeri, who's going to be looking at getting the Yuntal online very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be very quite, yeah, like I said, very interesting game, as now you can see it's a 1k gold lead just for the side of the Monks. Usually that's probably rolling about probably like a 15 to like a 12, if I'm being honest, on a D12. So we'll have to see how those hits are going to land, and if they can carry this home. Again, we're looking at 2 teams that are in that lower bracket. They're fighting for that place. They really need to step up these gameplay and really push themselves to the limits. Felix is really struggling to sidestep any of these little things coming out from the Yuumi.
Yeah, it really has been the difference maker. It's just that little bit of poke. The Zeri doesn't generally get to step up, but when you are that low, she gets to play with a little bit more, a little bit less fear, and actually look for more aggressive trades. And you can see that's stacked up to about a, what is that, 13 CS lead. The Ashe is currently equalizing that slightly, but the next wave will be farmed, so it's probably going to end up about 15. And Toys had that successful gank in the top side, but that was really all he's found. Maybe looking for a bit of a lane gank here, but he's just not going to find the angle, and the woes continue on the top side.
Oh well, game is in a bit of a quiet space. Void Grubs are about to spawn though, less than a minute for those, actually 30 seconds. So, but here's Toys. This could be a bit of an unstoppable. It's the killer. Crystal Arrow is so good. Doms go straight over the wall. Fisher used as well. That is a lot of things used in the space of just a few seconds. Now Masters could be caught out, pulling out those monk moves. You're going to pull that Ragnarok. There's the Stormbringer as well. It's doing some damage, but the Conqueror's been stacked. Can they get a little bit more off as you got just the Tiamat as well? It's one more hit will do it. The Flash forward. It's a trade 1-for-1 weapon.
The message has been sent by Feng Shui Masters. Did not need to flash there, but still does so, gets the kill, and it's going to secure the space for El Chippy to go and get this second round of grubs for himself. So they're going to get a little bit of that extra damage to the towers, which on the Feng Shui Monk side, they have been seeing the towers time and time again, because you've got a Azir in the mid lane, you've got a Zeri Yuumi that is popping off. Toys may be looking for a steal here, but I don't think he's got anything to say about this.
Yeah, look, it's just a case you got to be giving those ones. Oh, that's the Ghost popped as well. Here comes the Hecarim. The speed is there, but no, Toys could just be toyed on a little bit. You got a couple members still here. The flash over from Toys keeps them alive. El Chippies is now looking at this Galio, trying to get that damage off. The Blast Cone keeps them out of dodge. Anti-Teemo guy, not even a Teemo in this game, and they're struggling to have relevance. They're going to get sliced. There's the Empress Divide just for style points at this point. And now look as well. Felix is hit. That's so much going down. Can Doms get the damage off? And yes, they can pick up the Braum. And it really feels like this Zeri is starting to clean up just a little bit more.
Yeah, stark contrast to our last game where the Zeri has had a decent laning phase, hasn't been kept down, and has the Yuumi instead of the Karma in this game. So a bit more of a consistent support that can just sit on top of you. And that's what Zeri really wants, is an enchanter who gets to stay with her in the fights. And in this game, she's now 3-2-0. Has the Yuntal. I don't know if you can go for this. She can just skate over the wall.
Yeah, nah, gone. Exhaust is used as well, though. Summoners having to be burned, but yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, and up towards that top side, Feng Shui so strong that he's able to just power farm. He's able to proxy farm. He's also got the Ravenous online. The kills stacking up, the advantage is stacking up for Feng Shui Monks, and you're going to start up this dragon. I don't think you can test this. No one has items online. No one is able to do anything on Hardstuck Adakar. They are just looking for that first item, looking for a chance, and I don't think they're going to be given it until they lose at least a tower and start getting more of this map taken away from them.
Yeah, it's just looking a little bit worse and worse for the Adakar as they are slowly falling behind. Just again, it's a 3k gold lead now, 2 dragons for the side of the Monks. They're feeling very good about the state of this game, and I think all it now takes is how can they snowball it further, Weapon. And with a couple more objectives coming up on the board, next one in question is the Rift Herald. I feel like they can open up this map just a little bit more. No way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Leave him alone. The Stormbringer's not enough. Even with the big hero's entrance, still taken down. But that was a lot of ultimates used. Dom's pet as well.
Committed to get that one kill back.
Oh my god. Slows. If that Yuumi wants to pop that ulti, Fisher goes out, the flash goes forward and says, no, we want Felix instead. And now they're trying to get the big shots. Domped locking it down, and Switcher about to switch their screen from colored to gray. And now Imperator is going to be jumped on as well. Gets hit back with the Emperor's Divide. They do stay out of dodge this one time, but a really nice play down bot side.
It's just so heartbreaking for Hardstuck. They can't find any angles into this game. They're even going to give up that first tower. I believe if the feats haven't gone over yet, this will almost definitely do it. I can't recall who actually got them, but there's also not any boots we can look at, but surely this will be the one. This Zeri is going to be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
With the Yuumi on her back, she always was going to be, but this is a scaling composition effectively with the Zeri Yuumi, these 2 carries that need some time to come online, that have not had to take that time to scale. So they are massive. Hecarim has the Eclipse online. Every single fight that Feng Shui Masters is taking on this all-out is a win, and this is a Volibear who's gone for the AP build, and he's only just gotten the Rod of Ages online. He just doesn't get to be in this lane.
No, he doesn't. He's not even allowed anywhere near any waves, any XP. We even saw that Feng Shui Master was actually proxying before, and that's just nasty. Proxy, when you get the chance to proxy comfortably, even 1 wave is rough. He proxied like 2 or 3 waves with no punishment.
It's just gross. Throw on the fist bump, sure. Give it to him. He's certainly carried the top lane. He's about 30 CS ahead.
He's doing something with those fists, and by now it actually looks more like he's just trying to pump them out. But now it's looking to get jumped on as well. You knew where I was going with that, but it's a different story now. The 2v1, the Ragnarok's there, and Toy is just being thrown around like a ragdoll. The Ragnarok has been stopped though, but you have the damage, you have the healing, the shield is good. 10-10 wants to come back into this one, but you've chased it a little bit too far. It is an Olaf with a lot of healing on that Omnivev. It's a 2v1, and Olaf can take these plays all the way to the kitchen sink and beyond, and a double kill down bot side has just said to me, Laquan can hard carry.
You called it from the early game, but the Olaf on the top side, 2v1, has just put 10-10 in the dirt. And Toys trying to find something. He hit the level 6 mark. He found one play, but just has been locked out of this game thus far. No one on the team is going to be able to play alongside this Nefiri. The only member of the team who has a positive KDA, you could maybe make an argument for the Galio, but he doesn't really have a KDA at this stage of the game. It's all falling apart for Adakar, and they just need time, but they're just not going to be given the time, and it feels like they're not giving themselves the time to get items online, to get themselves to their power spikes, because they're just taking every single fight that presents itself, and they continue to lose them. Shock horror.
Shock horror. Look, if you fall a little bit behind, but you keep forcing fights that you don't need to force, of course it's going to be bad for you. You'd think they'd learn this by now. This is League of Legends, baby. We've been playing this for years.
Yeah, this is not Counter-Strike. You can't turn the game on its head with a Glock and a dream. You've got to get items. You've got to get CS, and if you're not going to give yourself the time to do so, then you will continue to get drowned out of this game. And the other thing that this is going to give the side of Feng Shui Monks is control over priority on waves. And you've got Dragon spawning in 37 seconds. It's going to be that Cloud Drake, which was so busted they had to nerf it going into this season. And look at what you've got to work with, right? It's a Hecarim, it's an Olaf. You want backline access? A Cloud Drake is going to give you that. As soon as you pop that ultimate, you are zooming.
Zeri as well, the mobility through these walls, it's going to be all right. And talking about a Glock, what did you say? A Glock and a what?
A Glock and a dream.
Glock and a dream. That's an IE picked up for Zeri. Hasn't even gone the Hurricane yet. It's just said, you know what, guys? It's time to punch out the damage. And that's a lot of damage on Zeri. 50% crit right now. Feeling good.
Yeah, this is a Zeri that, I mean, you can say she has a Glock. This is an AK. She is fully armed. She's got head armor. She's got the Kevlar. She's even got a Zeus on her hip. She's ready to go. But El Chippy starting up with Dragon, maybe a bit of a contest here, but I don't really know if you can even go for this contest.
How do you contest?
And I don't think you should. Toys may be looking for a steal.
I think you can test for the memes because it's already down at 3k health. They've said, no, sorry, can't contest it. Laquan's Hecarim's that good. I'm scared of it. Look how fast it's moving, man. It's booking it. It's hitting Mach 5 at this point. Having to use that hero's entrance pretty early. The Fear trying to go back into it. The whole team's now joining in. Toys is getting a lot of damage. What just happened? He just cancelled out the Empress Divide with a good old shield. But look at Zeri. The pet is looking strong. Dashing over the wall. You want more. Dodging out the charge. It's not going to be enough. They want everything. It's actually clutch as shit. Holy shit. Now look at this. Here comes 10-10 trying to jump onto a Perinator just to get out. But wow, that is the biggest balls I've ever seen on a Zeri player.
Yeah, and that's what a 9k gold lead looks like, by the way. I don't know what they had going into this game, but I mean, we're going to see it. It was okay. It was about 9k still. So they've kept the gold lead pretty much the same. But at this stage of the game, with these two carries that have generally been considered to be scaling carries, who are so accelerated, you get to do whatever you want. And what Domspet wants to do is flash forward, has the Yumi on his back. He didn't save him this time, but, you know, the message has been delivered. And everyone on the Hardstock side is dead. And your Zeri is 8-3-1. Eurazir has 2-0. He's 2-0-4, and he's going to be getting the Leandri's online soon. Honestly, I think you can just go full burst in this game. I think the Leandri's is a bit slow for this game. Go for the... Go for the Shadow Flame, my dude.
It's to stop this Galio from having any impact, if I'm being honest, because you just got a little bit of magic resist there. That's all I'm seeing. And fair enough. It's the smart and correct move weapon. You can go full burst, but they're playing smart and correct.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It is the correct itemization, but I think at this state of the game, if you cast your eyes skyward, it's 7 to 18, and there is not a lot you can do. make whatever mistake you want. And even starting this Artican, there is no vision control because last we checked, you were pummeling your opponent's face in just outside their base, so there's not going to be any wards. This one's free, lads. We do a bit of gardening. We do a bit of pest extermination.
Yeah, well, they're wanting to contest, though. Like, they're coming for it. It's going to hit just enough. Red team does secure it, but can they pick up the flowers? But now they're looking to go a little bit further as the Crystal Arrow does hit Zeri in the back line. They need to jump onto it as Toy's the only one. Big Storm Strangler just trying to get out of there, just to say, no, we need to bail. There's the hero's entrance. It's defensive, but the absolute Ragnarok says, no, we keep going, boys. We do not stop till we see all the blood. Emperor's Divide gets 2, but it's going to be enough as the shutdown does go on to the Olaf. Masters is gone. Now Switch is gone. The whole team's switching to another game after this because it's been an absolute dumpster fire and a huge ace for the side of Monks. And now they're sending Rift right down mid lane saying, you know what? Let's just close this one out.
A bit of an easy day out for the Monks, and in a game where it absolutely needed to happen, the lower bracket, they needed to pull out this win, and they absolutely will in an 8-23 shellacking. Hardstuck Adakar, their road ends here.
Oh, the road is gone, but sadly it will not be forgotten because you can look at these games and say, yes, they destroyed us. Yes, it was a rough time, but what can you do when you go up against a guy with the name Laquan? Nothing. That name is infamous, but look at Zeri still fighting it out. She says, you know what, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die with absolute guns blazing is what I care about. Predator pops up that passive just to keep them going. But now they're still being fought back. Predator trying to reset. They do.
We press B. We reset. And Hardstuck Adakar, we were ready to call the win. The arrow's going to land. I don't know what you can do off this. Nothing. Imperator's got a Shreema Shuffle. Yeah. He can press Q, he can press W, Q, and E, and get out of there. And Hardstuck Adakar, I think this is... Oh, we forgot to guard it.
That's what I said. I was like, the flowers, they're not going to be picked up at all.
Yeah, we got to prune these guys. There's some weeds growing in the top.
That's why you got axes, mate.
Yeah, perfect gardening tool, gardening implement. Hardstuck Adakar, they buy themselves a bit of time. Well, they don't buy themselves. I think it was gifted to them by Tom's pet. They probably wanted the game to end there, if I'm perfectly honest. But they do get another chance. Dragon spawning in 24 seconds. If you can contest this, maybe look for a steal. But I think that this is done. I think we pack it in. I think we look for the next fight. And that is where this game will end.
No way. Do not be that guy. Don't do it, Laquan. Laquan James. Sorry. That's all I can think. That's all I can think. I've got nothing else going on in my mind. I'm like, Laquan James. Because he's just absolutely going nuts. But I love it because the shield's there. This Ragnarok 3v1 is absolutely blasted. He's booking. Look at the healing. Look at the damage he's putting out. No way does Toys continue to go in. Switcher is on 1 HP and he got a double kill. Yeah, you end that one out, boys. Oh, Crystal Arrow's good. Uses the cleanse. Where did he go?
Nope. Imperator was there just free hitting. Doesn't matter if you've managed to land the good arrow on Don's pet. He skates over the wall and Imperator finishes the kill. Olaf gets the 3v1. Feng Shui Masters on his Olaf. Sundered Sky completed, so much healing, and look, we're just wrapping it up. We're putting a bow on it.
Look, and we'd love to wrap it up. It's not even Christmas time, but I'm feeling the Switcher is gone. Switch and rolls after this one because his team just could not carry, unfortunately, and a really good game from the Monks. It just felt like they had control from start to finish, Weapon, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, they just blasted their opponents out of the water, and it's in a game where it absolutely needed to happen. They get another chance next week, and hopefully they can continue some of this form because they are absolutely going to need to. This is a very stacked tournament. Some of the best players we have coming in out of the competitive scene. If they can keep this performance, for sure, you got to say, like, this is a lower bracket match. They're against not the strongest of opponents.
Yeah.
They're very, great job showing up. Hardstuck Adakar, hopefully see more of these players.
Yeah.
They have certainly, they played their way through here, no doubt have had some moments and something to take and put in the bank for next time you do this.
Yeah.
But the Monks.
Oof.
need to keep this up.
They need to keep that momentum, right? They've just come off this good win. Their confidence will definitely be up with that one weapon. I feel like they're in that lower bracket. They can feel a little bit more, but let's have a look at that team now in the updated Swiss bracket. This is going to be the Golden Goose, if ever I've seen it, because now they have moved on. We can actually see in the last chance and the qualified even. We could look at the qualified. GZ, of course, they're in there. XDD Gamers, CRG as well, absolutely qualified to go on to the major matches. I'm excited for that, but this last chance weapon, this is looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. So we now know that it is going to be roundtable, the 5 Mighty Bulldogs, which is of course Bulldogs team, Ale, who I believe we did see last week on stream, Feeders Anonymous, Gmail, and of course Weebs made it through today, and Jesus Loves You All, who we saw on the first week. So some very strong teams still remaining, and a lot to be said about that last chance round, because we know who our teams are qualified: CRG, XTD, and Ground Zero Academy. I think largely the expected results. The Washers and Hardstock Attica are, of course, washing out today. And then it's going to be a question of what happens in that lower bracket. Once again, UQ LOL fighting for their lives alongside Frozen Hands, YYG, Monks, who just qualified into that bracket. We're So Doomed, and Pethies.
Yeah, look, and a big GG's to those who have sadly gone out. It was one of those teams we just saw set out of cars. They are now out, but not forgotten still, because you have to have more teams to have brackets. You got to have brackets to have a tournament. So, guys, a big shout out to you guys for jumping in, playing these couple weeks. We will not forget you. We want to see it again, man. Like these games have been fun. Like they've just been, honestly, they've been a little bit shenanigans. That's my classic OS word, shenanigan games. Yep. But we're here for it because it's good shenanigans. But still, weapon. We had a good night. It's the end of the night, though. It's only 2 games. What would you like to see moving forward? Is there one team you're looking at that you want to see take it home before I close this out?
We have to look at Ground Zero Academy. I think it's a roster that's largely been kept together. I think the pieces are there. I'm also looking at this CRG team with Kajamo and Get a Better Name, and they've managed to keep. I don't know if Eve Q is Eve Win playing. It must be new name, maybe. Has to be, actually. I'm almost 100% certain. Would love to get confirmation. I'm sure the chat's screaming at me right now. But of course, that team has qualified into the playoffs. So I think we can look at any 3 of those teams that are qualified into the playoffs and say, yes, there's a chance that they can take it. What I want to see is who challenges them.
Yes.
And we're looking at the middle of the pack. We've got Bulldogs team. We've got so many teams that look like they could be the ones. Gmao, of course, with Silofu and Neymar. Could be a team to keep our eyes on, and a lot to be said over the next couple of weeks about the shape of this tournament, who goes in playoffs, and
they're not the same weapon. It's not the same. It's not Eve Win.
Okay,
it is someone else. It is another Eve. Look, maybe a brother, maybe a distant cousin. We don't know. We'll have to find out. But that's, again, Weapon. Any final remarks before we close out show? I've got a nice little exit of the show I'd like to do.
I think you should hit us with your sign-off.
I'm going to hit us with the sign-off because you know what, guys? We're in Oceania. We need to start changing the game. If we want to improve as a region, we need to start first working on our mental. So from all of us here at the OCC, you are absolutely spectacular gamers. Keep your chins up, work hard, get that coaching down from Sarsaparilla because they will get you there further, but we can climb as a region. We will get there. From all of us here at the OCC, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure. Good night.